Hi, I'm Roger and welcome back to the Tractor Tech channel. Today, I'm going to be doing something that is less efficient, but it's going to increase productivity. So my plan is I'm going to get the logs and just lay them out on the ground and cut like we used to cut, because my dad isn't able to cut right now. So I'm probably going to be doing most of this pile by myself. And also, when I'm doing my regular work, if I get to a point where I have a few minutes of free time, I can grab a saw and come out here and cut, versus having to get the tractor out, put the grapple on, put the ballast on. You know, you're talking 15 minutes there by the time you do all that stuff, where I could already have a little bit of wood cut in that time. And if I only have 15 minutes of time, well, I can't even do anything in that amount of time. Plus, then the tractor has to be put away, all that stuff. So, you know, it's a lot of time just getting the tractor out and then putting the tractor away and doing the job. So by laying the logs out, having some ready to cut, when I have a few minutes of free time to cut, I think it's going to increase my productivity versus not being able to cut a lot of times when I normally have a few minutes of free time. When I got ready to hook the grapple up today, I had the absolute worst time connecting the one hydraulic line. I know when you disconnect it, you hit the buttons on the third function to relieve all the pressure. I always do that. Last time I used it, it was a little bit cooler weather. It's supposed to be like 90 today. I don't know what the current temperature is. It's really hot and it's pretty warm, but it's really humid right now. Had the absolute worst time, kept trying. I didn't want to break a line loose, because you crack the line and is the thing going to leak after you do that? You're going to have to get some thread tape or whatever and put on it. So I didn't really want to do that. Kept trying. I usually get in here like this and then hold onto the hose, and I can also push with my right leg on it to get some extra leverage. That's always worked, but the bottom line, I just couldn't get it. Heard guys say spray some water on them to cool it off, which will drop the pressure. Went over, sprayed hose on the cylinder, I sprayed water on the cylinder, I sprayed water on the hoses. Still didn't help. Kept trying. Got the one hose hooked up, tried letting the pressure off a little bit, thought maybe that would do something magically. Still wouldn't work. Kept trying. Finally, I just pushed really hard on it and got it. So thankfully, this bracket that holds the third function on is nice and thick and sturdy. If you had one that was thin, you'd probably bend it off in a case like that. So I don't know, what do you guys do when you can't get your hydraulic lines hooked up? Do you crack a line? Do you just keep on trying until you get it? I have seen a tool that presses on the middle of the hydraulic fitting to relieve the pressure. I don't know if anybody has one of those, if it works well or not. So let me know what you guys do. And I'm going to get the tractor fired up and get to moving some logs here. So here's the logs I'm going to be moving. I have a few rounds from where I cut with the 660 in the video, and I also cut with the saw, showing it to somebody. The ballast on the tractor is still IBC tote of uglies, topped with some brake rotors. I added some more brake rotors off of a 3/4 ton Chevy. Need to check, I think we have some other big rotors in our scrap bin. Can add those on there for a little bit more weight. Just more or less throwing those on top. Don't want to fill the tote with complete scrap metal. And also took the time yesterday and drilled holes in the totes. I had one tote like this already. I drilled holes in the rest. I didn't take the time to pop this off. I was kind of lazy. But it takes a lot of time to drill the holes in these totes. But now they can breathe and the wood will dry. And most importantly, the wood won't get moldy, hopefully. Got these totes over here done also. And I have a couple others that I did that I don't have in this area. We'll talk about these totes in another video. It's a whole nother subject. Don't worry, I didn't cut the top out of this. Somebody else cut the top out of it. It was like that when I got it. I don't know what they used. While I'm talking about totes, if anybody has a suggestion on where to find IBC totes, let me know. They're very hard to find here at a reasonable price. People want typically $100 to $150, and in my opinion, they're not worth that, because they're pretty much industrial waste to me. Like, the factory uses them one time, then they have to get rid of them. And if you look on these totes, I have several of them. There are businesses that come around and pick them up for free because the factories just need to get rid of them. But now you have employees that are picking them up, and then they're trying to sell them for an arm and a leg when they're getting them for free, which I wouldn't mind paying somebody for them because I know they're picking them up, hauling them home from work, all that stuff, but I don't see where it's worth $100 or $150 for something a factory's throwing away. I mean, it's just like pallets. You can get pallets for free. People aren't selling them for 10 or 20 bucks. So why are they trying to get a premium out of these IBC totes? Now, I know places that dye mulch have the IBC totes. There's nobody around in this area that dyes mulch, so that's out. Checked around with some other businesses and no luck. They're pretty hard to find. You just pretty much have to scrounge. I am fortunate enough that I know a guy that can bring me some. He brings me one or two once in a while. Lately, he's actually been bringing me two, which is great. And I have a pretty good collection of them now. But these are the 250s. I have one that's the next biggest one. I'm trying to think, 275, 300, I can't remember. I'd like to have two 330s because I could put those in the basement. They would hold over half a cord of wood. And I have a pallet jack, so I could just roll it out, go get the wood, and then bring it back in, roll it back in with the pallet jack. And I could have one cord plus of wood in the house very easily, and it would only take up this amount of space, except it'd be just a little taller. But yeah, if you have any suggestions on the IBC totes, let me know. Well, that's about all the logs I can get laid out, because as you can see, this last log I laid is right where I need to be driving into the pile. The biggest thing that is killing me on productivity around here is the space. This is the only space that I have to work up the logs. If I had plenty of space, I could call the guy I buy my logs off of, say, hey, bring me 10 loads of logs. Wouldn't have to worry about getting 2 or 3 loads at a time and then saying, hey, bring me more when those are done. You know, I wouldn't have to wait on him. I just have the logs here, and really I could just, every time I get a load used up, I could call and order another load, so that way I don't deplete my log inventory. So that way I don't deplete my log stock. Got a couple big logs here. Nothing super big, but this one here is pretty decent. Probably use the pipe 660 on this one. Most of the stuff's pretty small, so I'm not going to use too big of a saw on it, maybe 261 or something. And pretty much ready to cut now. This Titan log grapples really come in handy around here for moving the logs. I have a very nice root grapple, but it just does not compare to a log grapple for moving logs, especially if the logs are crooked. The log grapple really shines then. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you have a good week.